have chocolate on your phone.
No, really? On a rooftop.
And windy! Yeah. Hey au pairs! So today we had a question from our au pair friend Ellen Murphy.
Hi.
Hi Ellen. She asked us what the difference is between Paris city life or suburb life, because as an au pair you have the option to live with a family in the suburbs or live with them in the city. And we're actually both coming from experiences of Paris city life, so we reached out to some of our friends to see what they had to say about suburban life, because we do have friends from the suburbs. We're not, you know, totally separate entities.
We thought we'd just discuss the differences between the two, because at the end of the day your experiences are going to be great, and whether you live in the suburbs you just have to make the most of it and not think of yourself, I don't think, as living in Paris. If you're in a close suburb that's fine, but if you're mega far away, just enjoy the small town vibe, which I think I would have preferred, especially in the first few months anyway. So we decided to do this in a slightly different way. Edwina's going to represent the suburbs of Paris, and I'm going to represent the inner city, which is my favourite part of Paris.
Okay. So, first pro about living in the suburbs is that you often will live with your family and have a very close relationship with them, which is, I think, something you miss out on in the city sometimes.
Yeah, it's something that before you move to Paris you think, I don't need that, like who cares about being close with my host family. But then when you're just lying in bed feeling quite homesick, it is nice to be able to just walk downstairs and actually hang out with your host family, as weird as that sounds to you right now. However, in a city I actually found that I would be quite lonely quite often. In the city you're usually living in a tiny chambre de bonne on your own, so it can be quite lonely, but the flip side is that you don't have to invite friends over to someone else's house. You can just invite them over to your place.
But another pro of the suburbs is that I feel you save a lot of money, because most of the time you can invite your friends over to your family's place. You can hang out in the living room, you can do free activities in their house and chill as if it's your own house. Whereas in the city, you have to go to a cafe to meet each other, spend money getting, you know, drinks and going out, and
unless one of your friends has a really nice chambre de bonne. So ask for pictures of your chambre de bonne quite early, I think. Obviously the biggest pro about the city, which most people feel, is that you're close to everything. One of my friends lived within walking distance of the Eiffel Tower, and so did we technically, but we didn't really do it. And I could see the Eiffel Tower from my bedroom, which probably made me feel, even when I was feeling terrible, it made me think like, I'm here, I got this, I've done this.
Well, in the suburbs it can be quite annoying, I guess. That's the biggest con about living in the suburbs, is that it can get quite annoying not being so close to the city center. But you do have the RER, which is a very efficient system for getting in and out of the city. So there's two modes of train transportation in Paris. There's the metro that runs in the city center, and then there's the RER, which goes from the city center to the close suburbs. And that runs quite frequently, but the only thing is, if you go out at night, the suburb trains will stop running at a certain hour, so you have to plan accordingly.
Yep. As much as I loved being able to walk home through the streets of Paris at night time, I sometimes think it would have been better for me to have a curfew, so that I wouldn't have been walking through Pigalle at 3 in the morning. Yeah, but that's a benefit of living in the city, is if I'd have been intelligent, I would have taken a taxi and it would have been cheaper than to the suburbs.
And I'd say that one of the top pros about living in the suburbs is that you will definitely, or I can't say definitely, but you will probably learn more French than you would living on your own independently in the chambre de bonne in the city, because you're around your family all the time. You see them in the morning, you see them at lunch, you see them at night, so they're speaking to you and interacting with you in French, and that definitely makes so much difference. Even if you're watching your kids for 4 hours a day and speaking to them and the parents in French, you leave at the end of the day to go see your Anglophone friends and you speak English again. Having more exposure to the language will definitely help you walk away from your au pair year feeling like you've actually learned and grasped some of the language.
Yeah, unless you get a French boyfriend in the city or girlfriend. At the end of the day, I think whether you live in the suburbs or in the city, it isn't going to make too much of a difference to your experiences. But for me, the biggest piece of advice is to speak to your host family a lot.
Yeah.
So much more if you're going to live with them than if you aren't going to live with them.
Yeah, I think it's not a matter of living in the suburbs versus living in the city, although there are those differences. I think at the end of the day, if you have a nice family, it doesn't really matter where they live. It matters your relationship with them, and that's something that you won't really know unless you Skype with them a lot, and you won't really know until you get there, and then then you can leave if you don't like your family. I did. It's all good. Look at my au pair horror story. Link below. Alright, that's all I can think of.
That's all I can think of. If you can think of anything else, then write it in the description below, or tweet us at AuPairInParis, or submit to aupairinparis.com.
Subscribe and like our videos, and that's all for now.